What's up, guys? My name is Hellbilly. I build motorcycles, old cars, old trucks, and I decided to start a YouTube channel, of course, at the tail end of my truck, and just decided to do it. So I have a couple projects that I'm going to be doing over this channel. I have my 2001 Harley Davidson Softail that I'm making into 60s-esque uh, Frisco chopper style. So I'm going to be doing a longer fork. I'm going to be modifying that exhaust and just stuff like that. I've got a big ride planned from on the end of May, going from LA to Portland, then to Boise, Idaho, for a chopper show called Landlocked. Hoping to be an invited builder. That'd be freaking cool. Either way, I'm still building the bike and I'm going to be riding up there. Now, for the vehicle that I'm on the tail end of is my 1966 Dodge Power Wagon Crew Cab. I'll be showing you more of that here in a bit. But when I got the truck, it had the original 318 Poly. Bought it from a dealership up in Rock Springs, Wyoming. 10 years ago, about for $1,000. The original owner brought it in as a trade-in for a newer Ford pickup. You know how the story is. If you own an old car, you go into a dealership, you see it, and nobody there can fire it up. You're one of the few people that can actually fire it up, and so they like to make a deal with you to get it off their lot. Well, that's what happened with me. So, what I've been doing is for the last 2 years, I told myself it was going to be 6 months, but the last 2 years, I've been building this motor. This motor came out of a 1968 D200 pickup. It's a 383 big block, and I've gone through and rebuilt everything. I took this thing down to a bare block, took out the crank, cam, everything, and went through the bore with a ball hone. Just cleaned everything up, put the oil hatches back in it, and then I put a high flow oil pump, high flow water pump. The truck from the factory was not supplied with a power steering option for any of these models for the SWIP lines. So I found a company that has a direct bolt-in. So I've got a power steering system on it now. These headers I actually get off of eBay. I have these on my 62, which you guys will see here fairly soon. But they're stainless steel. I love them. The flanges on the collectors and on the block are actually pretty thick. So I don't have any leakage or warpage or anything like that. The only issue I have with these is they tend to blacken after a while because the polish comes off and all that stuff. I've got a Howard's cam in it. I will get you the dimensions here in a bit. The block, heads, piston, crank, all that stock. Everything has been gone through and cleaned up just so that, gave it a good overhaul. And I wanted to keep the truck manual, but I ran into a bunch of different things. I couldn't get the flywheel and starter combination to match up. There was like 5 different starters for that year, for that era. I had the biggest flywheel I could get, which was like 172 tooth, if I remember correctly. But was not able to find a starter that had a big enough cog. I would run into about a gap as big as my pinky in between the starter and the flywheel. So I decided to go automatic. So this is the automatic that I ended up with. Got it from a buddy. It's a 727 out of a 1968 D300. So it's got the truck tail cone on it. But I went through and put a TCI Dragmaster rebuild kit in it. Went through the valving on it, all that type of stuff. I'm running a 3-inch pan instead of the factory like 1.5-inch or inch pan on it. I'm running a cone sprag bearing in the back because the original one had actually blown apart. And I have a brand new Cone Engineering torque converter. Was really happy with all of their stuff on getting me the price and all that type of stuff. Since this truck was a manual, I'm going with a low car shifter assembly. So all that brackets and all that type of stuff you see right there is going to be for that. So now I'm going to show you my truck. Like I said, I've had this truck for about 10 years. Bought it from a dealership that got it from the original owner. Bought it for $1,000, and when I got it, it was all original, running, all that type of stuff. Now, I've moved to Colorado, and when I moved to Colorado, I drove the truck here, but I went off to college in California first, and when I did that, the truck was in storage for about 5 years. Now, the motor in the truck was never really healthy. It was a little worn out. My first issue that I had with the truck when I first got it was the carburetor was an old 2-barrel, and it never worked right. It had the leather around the accelerator pump had disintegrated, so it never really worked well. So, been going through, and when I drove it here, it was basically started with a can of ether at every gas stop for 5 hours, 5.5, 6 hours. And every gas stop, I'd have to stop, turn the truck off, of course, and spray about a half a can of ether down it just to start it. Once I did that, the truck would be floored and doing about 55 and gutless and all that type of stuff. Going up the pass by Laramie was pretty fun. So when I got here, I decided that I needed to repower it. Now I was going to redo it. And when I first got this truck, I was going to put a Cummins in it. But when I first got this truck, nobody was putting Cummins in crew cabs. This crew cab was not really found quite yet by people building them now. I do have to say that when I first bought this truck, before I bought it, I never really liked the crew cabs in this body style because the B pillar in between the front door and the back door, wasn't a huge fan of it. Saw this one in real life, and I was like, I have to get it. So did that, and then when I got it here, the motor was just, no matter what I did, I tried like 3 different carburetors. The motor had lost a whole bunch of compression. It's supposed to be like 100, 110 up in that area, and that's where it was when I first got it. But when I got it here, and after it'd been sitting for a while, it was down to 75 was the good cylinder. So I was like 50, 50s to 70s. So there was no compression. It would idle at higher RPMs, but it would not move the truck. So found a 383, actually I was going to use the motor out of my car. And so I found a big block hydraulic bell housing. When I did that, I realized I didn't really want to take the motor out of my car yet. And so the same dude that I bought that one from, the bell housing, actually had a 383, and it came out of a 68 D200. So I bought that and spent a fair amount of money just going through it, replacing all the bearings and all that stuff. I mean, that whole motor has been replaced. Everything's been taken off and just rebuilt. So now I'm going to show you the truck. So here it is, guys. My 1966 Dodge W200 Power Wagon. Factory Dana 44 front, Dana 60 rear. I've got the heavier Dana 44 front. It's got the 12-bolt flanges on to hold the dust covers instead of the 8. I have Warren locking hubs on it, and it's still got drum brakes. I've gone through those and replaced the wheel cylinders and all that type of stuff. This truck still does have a fair amount of rust on it. As you can see, there's that. But the good thing is it's only the front ones that have the issue. The back ones are still nice and solid. This truck has the original patina on it. It had a wraparound bumper on it and a camper shell that was like 2 foot taller than the cab. And the wraparound bumper actually pushed that in. So that's, at the time I was using my 70 Dodge D100 and a come along and a rubber mallet and straighten that out. A fair amount. I still need to do some more. But I'm running Specialty Tires of America Super Lugs. These are the 916s. Inflated and all that type of stuff. They're 37 inches tall. So I'm really happy about that. So this is 37s on the lift. As you can see, my floorboards are actually replaced by street signs on both sides. This one I believe is no parking at any time, and that one says no pass zone or something like that. I'll show you here later. I've got the twin stick transfer case, factory transfer case in it. I've gone to a junkyard and gotten the bezel and the trim piece. I also have the custom cab that I'm going to be putting in there, and the triangle that Dodge uses right there. As you can see, there's that pillar I was talking about. When I first got the truck, I still wasn't a huge fan, but now I love this truck. So it's a 66, so it still has the smaller window, and I'm perfectly happy with that. And like I said, Dana 60 rear. I've got a full exhaust on it. It's going to be 2.5 inch exhaust, and I have, I don't know if you can see it. Those are my mufflers. Those are like 8 inch long. So this is going to be fun when I first fire it up. I have no idea what it's going to sound like. This is the original paint, obviously, with the patina. It's their desert turquoise. I've rattle canned the front bumper and the roof white. The rims are actually off of a 91 Dodge diesel pickup. And then, so it came with a block heater. I'm leaving that hooked up. Like I said, I put an electronic ignition on it. I took the manual reservoir off. Both manual and brake reservoirs were the single, so I put a dual off of a 68 D200 on there. Got a proportioning valve from a 72. And then, so that is the power steering box. I will get you a little bit later. I'll get you the part number and where you can get all that stuff. Direct bolt-in, I did not have any issues with it. It's a really nice system. When you get it, you get a new drag link. I got my drag link from Power Wagon Classifieds. Brand new, they remake them and all that type of stuff. Mine was completely worn out, to the point where the shaft was actually eating into the ball, and I could literally go from 12 o'clock on the steering wheel to about almost 3 o'clock, and then it'll start steering. New brake lines, new motor mounts, but this is where that 3D3 is going to go. Alright guys, thank you for watching my video, and I hope you guys subscribe. I'm going to have a lot more videos. Like I said, I have this, I have my 62 Dodge car, custom 880, that is going to be on the channel soon, and I have some big plans for that. And then I have an '09 Dodge Challenger that I'm going to be building. It's a little built right now, but it's cold air intake, exhaust, and a little chip. Come watch us again. Me and Goose would appreciate that. Talk to you later.